that space. You guys are the important ones. All.
Take some photos too, please. And is there water still here? Can I grab a water from underneath you?
You good? Got everyone?
Yeah, right.
All right, if folks can take their seats, we're going to start with a very special announcement. If you don't know me at this point, you just showed up, shame on you, but I'm Tim Griff. I'm the CEO of the National Security Technology Accelerator. And on the first day during our presentation, we talked about some of the goals of NSTXL and what we're hoping to do. And one of the goals is really to create workforce development opportunities for veterans. And this is beyond just putting veterans in jobs. We want to make sure that we help veterans find careers. And one of these initiatives that the chairman of our board, Joseph Kopser, has started, we're announcing today, and it's my distinct pleasure and honor to welcome the chairman of our board, Joseph Kopser, to talk about the opportunity that he's created.
So one thing that we've been trying to drive home, both the work of Matt, Tim, and myself, is that we talked last year about what we wanted to build with NSTXL, and we did it. And here we are together all in this room, and with the partnership with the $100 million OTA from IACS, we're really on our way to doing that. But it requires three things. It requires time, it requires talent, and it requires treasure. And one thing that I learned in the military, like so many of the veterans that are in the audience and so many of the veterans that are here on stage, is that to do something well, many of those skills we learned in the United States Army, military, all forces, is teamwork, how to solve problems, and those of us especially that had the opportunity to serve in combat, we don't sweat the small stuff in ways we used to. So when I was transitioning out of the military, I found it to be much more difficult than I thought it should be. And the story of RideScout and what we were able to do go from an idea on PowerPoint that I presented the very first time to an idea that's now in 69 cities across the U.S. And like was mentioned before, Daimler, Mercedes-Benz bought our company because they see the future of mobility. It was hard, but it was not as hard for me personally. I mean, look at the facts. I was a West Point educated aerospace engineer with a Harvard degree. I had served on the faculty at the University of Texas, worked for the Army Chief of Staff. But even for me, it was hard to raise money. What is it like for the 22-year-old E3, the PFC, who gets out of the Army? What is it like for the 32-year-old single parent who gets out of the Air Force with an idea? What is their access to capital? How do they learn the skills, talents, and attributes that so many of you all have already figured out after transition? So just like what we're doing with NSTXL, we're not waiting for someone else to solve the problem. We, collectively, this group is the solution. So let me explain to you why this group was assembled to tell the story of RideScout and what we're doing going forward. It starts with President Powers. President Bill Powers has created a culture here at the University of Texas and in the community that has not only formal but informal centers to help. My very first help started when I was sitting in the classroom auditing a business school class. I had to go from talking acronyms to learning the language of business. And then shortly thereafter, Bob Metcalf and what he does with Longhorn Startup Camp kind of brought us up along, told us how to make PowerPoint slides and business plans. And then Rob Adams with the Texas Venture Labs accepted us in and brought us in with graduate students like Jamie Sutton, who taught us how to present our companies, how to get before the right people that we needed. And then when we grew the company more, Isaac Barkus and what the Austin Technology Incubator does to take companies to that next level of opportunity to be able to expand into the ecosystem. But it's the city as well, it's your community, as represented today by Mike Martinez. Mike Martinez, a council member who is not only helping create that culture here in Austin, Texas, like so many of you doing in your communities, but partnerships like with the Austin Technology Council, represented by Lawrence, an Air Force vet. They've just recently donated $300,000 to the Austin Technology Council from the city to actually put money behind programs that create opportunities for STEM education to be able to hire that high-tech workforce. But that alone is not enough to just have the time and the talent. It takes treasure, best represented by Brandon Bloodworth, who is an Army vet himself, a successful entrepreneur. He didn't know too much about transportation and RideScout when I very first pitched the idea, but he knew those same qualities of what the military teaches our veterans, and he invested in us as a team. I had 4 Army veterans on my team at that point. He was the first 6-digit check into our company. And then I also want to point out Brent Aaliyah, who represents the Austin Seed Ventures Fund. The ATX Seed Ventures Fund was the last 6-digit check that came into RideScout when we were raising money, because they too, Chris Schonk and his leadership, knew that it's a matter of putting resources, time, treasure, and talent behind veterans to actually make it happen. So what we're doing today with the NSTXL, we're announcing a new initiative that as a component of our core focus, we are going to develop and groom those companies with veterans that are led, veteran founded, especially those young ones that are in transition. But frankly, it's any age or any stage. You know, I put this roadmap together through the School of Hard Knocks, but it shouldn't have to be like that for the 22-year-old PFC, the 32-year-old staff sergeant, the single parent. So on the very end of the dais, we have Blake Hogan and Jonathan Paul, 2 Marines that stepped forward and said they want to help in that cause, helping us to create the field manual, the roadmap to be able to help veterans plug in at any age or any stage they are in life. And so we're announcing the Bunker here in Austin, Texas. It is by no means a new program. Think of it as the command and control for veterans. Where you plug into. So we might plug you into Tarak's organization, which is the Macomb School of Business Armed Forces alumni. Or he might link you up with people like Olivia, civilians who know what's going on in business and the programs you need. Or maybe one day it'll be TVL or ATI or Patriot Boot Camp. But it's the one-stop shop of where to go. But again, this is time and this is talent. And there's one more thing that's required that RideScout is so proud to be able to do, to present to the University of Texas and the Macomb School of Business, is our ability to give back. Isaac told me when he accepted us into this program of ATI, we're going to help you, but you're going to help people after you're successful. We just didn't know it would be 14 months before we were sold. So on behalf of RideScout, the co-founders, Craig Cummings and myself, we'd like to present $70,000 to the Macomb School of Business to create a first-of-its-kind, come on, step forward if you would, Rob, President Powers. A first-of-its-kind, Isaac, please. A first-of-its-kind student veterans entrepreneurship endowment. My first check was $5,000, and so with this money and the money some of you all will donate into this endowment, we're going to be popping out $5,000 checks fast, because if we know one thing in the military is you make mistakes and you learn from them. So some of these $5,000 checks might go nowhere, but it could be the next really big company that changes lives, that make people's life just that little easier, and we're just thrilled to be able to present it. President Powers, thanks very much for being here today. Thank you very much for letting me have the program. Thank you. We'll just go right up here. Thank you, sir. What's that? Oh, there you go. There you did. I did? Okay. Just be nice.